All right, welcome to VMware Explore 2024, day one. John, my mom used to say all the time, ain't no party like a HomeLab party.
It's a big focus. You know, there's all these new products, all these new things, all this stuff coming together with VCF. And I'm trying to figure out how to run it all on a Nook right now at home. But, I hear some people out there have a little bit more hardware than me.
A little bit more than that, absolutely. Our guest today is no strange to HomeLabs, Mark Huppert. Mark, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, also, shameless plug, Mark's actually going to be on our session, Adventures in VMware HomeLabs, by virtually speaking, and that's actually going to be available on download. So obviously, if you're here, go check it out. But if not, it'll be available on download. And the reason we wanted to invite you is because we all know HomeLabs is a wide term,
Yes,
as John mentioned. And some people do it on their MacBook. They use Fusion or whatever. Some people will have a couple of Nooks on their desk. And then other people actually will use old hardware that they've set up from their environment. And then other people really use it as a main career, advancing tool. And so there's a wide range. And I'd love to hear from you, maybe like how you got started with HomeLabs, and then we can eventually get to where you are now. How's that sound?
Yeah, HomeLab for is my main topic, and I love to speak about that. We're all started small, so starting at a workstation and powering things up, then invest into some kind of old HP micro servers, and running this stuff up, and then don't know the exact point, but at some point it freaks out at my home lab. So that's the main point. I'm using Nooks, I'm using old servers, I'm using new servers. Basically, HomeLab is an invest into your career. So I can definitely say everyone should do it, get familiar with new technology, prepare for exams, and especially prepare for customer engagements.
Yeah.
So use it for pre-sales engagements, pre-sales environments, test everything out, and squeeze all the little bits out of it.
I like that thing talking about, the cert training, because, working, if you go through a normal certification class or system, you end up in somebody else's nested environment that might be kind of slow, or there's things below you that you can't control. It's sitting in a nested VCD environment, and you can't just go break the networking arbitrarily in the same way you can learn. There is something to be said for having your hardware, but also that bit you mentioned about, as a partner using it for, testing out and proof of concept and selling. That's something that's really powerful. It's one thing to show slides, but it's another thing to say, oh, you've got a question about login site. Let's just open that up. Let's go look at that together.
And for example, within Germany, most of our customers are concerned about VCF, and we all have those stretch cluster things, and customers love to see how to stretch a VCF environment through the API Explorer. And I've done it at customer engagement more than 50 times, and it's definitely a door opener for customers.
Lead with showing,
Yeah.
not slides. Actually, here's when you're speaking to that operator of the environment and saying, this is what it's going to look like. And by the way, you should have your own lab so you can do this too.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
so for your stretch cluster, do you have like do you have a stretch cluster like a base? You have in your basement, you've got some servers, and then in your living room, how do you
stretching from one side of the rack to the other, maybe? But no, I mean that's the joy of labbing. You can simulate much larger environments.
So my HomeLab engagement or my HomeLab journey starts, I think, 18 years ago with small servers, those Apple Mac Minis, then attaching it to this Thunderbolt connection, getting 10 gigabits, getting fiber channel environments, and then my actual lab. Don't say lab; it's a home. Data center, because I run in 3 different data centers at home. So data center 1 has 2 40U racks, data center 2 has a 25U rack, and data center 3 has got an 8U rack. So that's only the witness location for all.
You got to have your quorum properly isolated, discrete networking, nothing like that. So.
Yeah, I also heard that you've been tweaking your lab, and because obviously one of the big concerns for folks that are doing this literally in their homes is cost, right? Because this stuff you get all these servers, they're not cheap to power, right? I heard you've been doing some tweaks to your environment to help with the power.
Yeah, power is one thing. The first thing when starting a home lab is how to get hardware. Second option, what about the licenses? So including VMware licenses, Microsoft licenses, and all this kind of stuff. The third option is the maintenance costs. So what about power? Especially in Germany right now, I'm paying 35 cents per kilowatt hour. It's kind of, and I'm
That is 3 times my Texas power.
It's kind of strange, and
then you got to cool that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. The cooling itself.
Oh, it's Germany, so
within
Open the window.
It could be hot there too. Not comparable with Texas, but within my environment, I have a dedicated ventilation system in my house, so no AC running for all the data center stuff.
So so you're air cooled.
cooled.
You're not running a mini split here.
No,
so,
it is all air cooled. But I've dedicated cool environments and hot environments, so separated like same scenario like customers do inside their data centers.
Yeah.
And especially the power consumption, 30,000 kilowatt hours. That's the power consumption of my home lab, and everything is not up and running, because actually
Is that per year or per month?
Good point. It's per year.
Oh, okay, per year. Okay. That's actually pretty well tuned for the amount of hardware we're talking.
Yeah, but actually I'm having in my environment 43 physical servers, so I get rid of all the old stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I've only Dell Generation 14 machines running in my environment. Not all of them are powered on all the time.
All right, so for those of you out there, look at me. If you have 12 and 13G servers in production, you're wasting so much money on power and cooling that this guy's HomeLab won't even host them. So come on, let's get some refresh out there. Go over to our Intel friends, buy a new server, I promise.
And for example, I'm using a 100 gig network since 3 years at my home lab.
Oh, fun.
So yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and
So,
especially
yeah.
the you're asking about the power tweaks.
Yes,
I had, let's call it a strange discussion. I invited people from VMware, from Dell, as well as Intel.
Yeah.
Kind of, private team session. And we looked into our faces and everyone said, we have never been such a discussion with people from all the different vendors inside one session.
How do we tune it together? Yeah.
And I like to squeeze most performance out of the servers, because it is my personal lab. When I'm sleeping, my lab is only doing backups, nothing else. So my first plan was to reduce power consumption, simply power off things.
Yeah.
But, don't power things down. It couldn't come up, or it takes hours to get it up and running again. So my tweak would be, I'd like to reduce the power, reduce the
Power
speed
capping
of
or changing C states?
power capping, C states, P states, all the different ESXi settings. So, for example, you have this balanced power. Normally, when I'm doing tests in my environment, I'm running high performance.
High performance, yeah.
But actually at night, and I'm using a PowerShell time-based script to change between those options.
There should be an option in the iDRAC. I'm gonna go find the PM over there and be like, look, time of day based auto flip state.
And I'm switching to custom because I had a lot of discussions, and it took me nearly 3 weeks to get into all the different BIOS settings of the Dell machine, the Intel, so the different Xeon settings, as well as the ESXi power options. And I created a blog post about that, and 3 weeks of work gonna come from my environment. It reduces about 10,000 kilowatt hours per year reduction, only for reducing power.
Oh wow,
That's
25 of net reduction.
Yeah.
Not most people aren't running 24/7 workloads. They've got backloads or backups or a backend thing. But
and right now I have customers asking me about that, because why not do that in a real production environment?
Especially when they're paying 36 cents a kilowatt hour. So
yeah. Speaking of your blog, by the way, you've done some extensive work on that blog. It's a resource. It's much like William Lamb has, like WilliamLamb.com is a main resource for many people.
Of course.
I feel like your blog is similar. Maybe not to the level of William Lamb. I'm not going to lie, but no, I have Googled and found you just by Googling before, looking something up. So it's you're building quite a links below in the video, but we'll definitely share it because you got some great stuff out there. But I also heard you're actually working with AI in your lab, which I'm imagining is going to be pretty pricey, considering these GPUs are not cheap. So how do you do that on a budget?
First of all, search for GPUs, NVIDIA GPUs on eBay and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So the T4s are in a price range quite affordable. So For example, I'm running 4 different NVIDIA T4s in 4 different Dell servers. That's my main AI cluster, running NVIDIA AI Enterprise software.
Oh, fun.
So I prepared the environment to train myself. So tweaking some kind of inference, doing a little bit stuff of training. So you need a powerful environment, powerful hardware, and especially customers need a starting point.
Yeah.
Right now, everyone's going to talk about AI, but seemingly no
if you don't
one
have
is-
a CUDA core in your environment, you can't play with it.
Yeah, but most of the customers have only ideas about AI, but
Right.
not an infrastructure starting point. They don't know how to start, for example.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. So ChatGPT, of course, but then showing customers the values, and then especially in Germany, thinking about private AI,
Yeah.
how to do it in your own data centers. What's the starting point? You must focus on servers with GPUs. You must focus on network, storage, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and especially, I have customers with production environments. They're using gigabit, 10 gigabit as their production network. And when talking about AI, I'm always complaining to customers, hey, 400 gigabit is the minimum starting point
Yeah.
for AI. Yeah.
That's insane.
I love those
Wow.
optics, silicon photonics. It's getting fun. Like hardware is cool again. So
Yeah, and it's always kind of fun. In my normal day work, I'm doing a lot of designs, customer requirements, meetings, performance tuning, and all this kind of stuff. I'm not able to get in touch with hardware, and that's the reason why I love my HomeLab, because it's
Yeah.
my dedicated environment.
There's nothing like having stick time like that. I mean, it builds confidence. It really helps you learn. There's nothing like learning with actually having your hands on it. I think it's great what you're doing. Another thing I think is great is that, John, I don't know if you know this, but Mark holds the title for attending every single VMware Explorer and VMworld ever.
I mean, I was just musing. I think this is my 10th year to come to the US, one in a row, and I'm like, man, I'm getting some serious
He's been
Groundhog
to
Day
every
effects,
event.
but every
Congratulations
event,
on that.
yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
impressive.
This is my 37th VMworld or Explorer, and Barcelona will be 38, and next year 39 and 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so I heard that you basically got some level of recognition for that. I think
Yeah.
it was last year. I don't know when it was, but
No, it
I
was
did hear.
2016 when I received a lifetime free pass in the past from Pat, and Raghu renewed it again, and Hoktan also acknowledged it. So yeah.
Very good, very good. I'm glad to hear that it's still that the quest is still going. I
But
love
it only holds until I attend. So if I'm gonna take one out, I'm out of the
You're
group.
out.
and the title is gone.
Yeah, you'll be banished.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I have agreement with some of my coworkers. So
Yeah, very
there you
good,
go.
very good, very good. I'm excited about our panel session. I'm excited about this week and talking to you at Explore finally in person. Great meeting you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Explore.
thank you very much.